Guys and gals, let's talk about binge eating and let's have a really deep look at it because, it's so common. Everybody seems to be eating, and binge eating actually means that we can't stop, that we continue eating outside of meal times. And, this is a real thing because food is so readily available. In this day and age, food is available around the corner. It can be delivered to your house, and you can find it basically in every building you enter. And there's a wide variety of it. So let's dive in. My name is Anna. Welcome to my channel. And you know what? I'm so happy about this discovery because actually I feel relieved. And I hope you are because you are human and we all experience the human side of things. We just want to do our best. We want to find love. And then we have all this pent up emotion. And emotion really it does not pent up here. Emotions are stored inside of the body. Like throughout the body, emotions find their way in some kind of body part. And this is the tricky part of it that a lot of people think that when we have some kind of knee injury, when there is some kind of pain in our chest, when there is a pain in our neck and shoulders, we think that's a physical thing and we head out to the physiotherapist. And in the end, it's pent up frustration. There's so much grief that we just store up because nobody is willing to listen to someone that is really sad. Nobody has the time actually to really take time for someone else's emotion instead of the whole story. And mostly, most of us, we lack courage to really name our emotions, to name like, I really feel disappointed or I really feel sad inside. No, instead we get angry because anger is often what comes out, especially with those aggressive people and those people who know to speak up. They won't admit that they're sad. And usually, many men won't admit that they're sad. No, because they wouldn't cry in front of other people, right? And that's why, sadly, we turn to binge eating. So you're not alone in this. And actually, in the short run, it's very short run. It's a very good solution if you want to feel like instant solace, if you want to comfort yourself. And, with the lockdown, once again, maybe it's already cheesy, but that's the point. When there was a lot of time to go to a supermarket and to create this habit of suppressing emotions, of not dealing with the emotions, and I want to encourage you to really separate those two things, to every time, when you have this urge to eat and when it's not a meal time, just check in with yourself if there's something bothering with inside, you know. And I will come with my tips in the end of the video because I want to go to this deep cause of shame, because oftentimes, it it can be so deeply covered, this pain. And talking about some kind of events, really going back to the event in our minds, having the thoughts about it, we often that is even too scary at all. And oftentimes we're just too busy to dig in deep. And I'm so happy that I was able to dig into myself. I have been able to be unemployed and to dedicate all my time to turn myself inside out. And I'm very, very grateful that I understood how emotions are stored in the body and how unpleasant it is to really know the truth, the truth, the deepest pain. And that in the end, as I was feeling my pain, I did find that I was still safe. In the contrary, we are not going to be safe when we keep eating, and we're not going to be genuinely safe when we have that moment, because with me, um, it begins by thinking of that food, of preparing the apple pie, because oftentimes I have this visual. So with me, it starts with a visual in my mind. So I see the pie and I see all the apples, baked apples, and I see the pastry around it. And once I think it really quickly, I could make the decision to plan a moment to go eat it, to organize myself to have this pie. And actually, once I decided, I already get calm. The calm enters my body once I would decide, once I say to myself, yes, you can have it. Yes, I'm going to give you a moment of solace. I'm going to give you relief, you know. And that's oftentimes, when I'm really tired, when I just don't feel the space to sit with my emotions. And then it's so easy to have a short-term relief, which in the end doesn't turn out very well, but it is too easy. It's too easy to buy food. And actually, it's so human to be overwhelmed, to be overstimulated, and I'm wanting um, to have um, yeah, a really big moment that can really release you. And I stopped blaming myself actually, because I think this is all of the learning process, and the beautiful side of it is that we can learn to treat ourselves by taking time for our emotions. And this is the whole journey. This is Anna's healing journey, to sit with the emotions and to really get to know herself. And before that, you have to really get to this point of honesty and saying, I'm avoiding something. I'm ashamed of something that happened in the past. I'm not even know what happened to me in the past. And I know that I'm human, and I know that I'm bothered with something. And this really is a huge step, huge beginning point in the journey, just to say, hey, I'm human, and actually I want to learn about myself, and actually I'm having some kind of behavior. I'm having suppressed emotions that I'm not dealing with. And from this point, you can start out by being compassionate, because if you're not compassionate, you can keep going, and you can keep going denying, and you can keep doing what you're always doing actually, but you will turn out worse, and you will be like majority of people. You won't even grow, because you keep in this stuckness. And that's what I did, and that's what I recently did, because I judged myself. And a lot of people who are eating a lot, once the mealtime is over, once the pie is finished, you even feel worse, because you say like, hey, I did something that might be unhealthy, and then you did that unhealthy habit, you finished all the food. It makes you feel heavy if it was really heavy. And then in the end, the emotions are still there, the sadness is still there. And we need in society, I think we need to normalize admitting that we're sad, and we need to say that this is a human thing. And it's not a human thing to be screaming and yelling all the time, because that's actually the misunderstanding of emotional expression. Emotions safely expressed are emotions that are expressed in a decent way, and also by not hurting other people. And that's not easy, but as I was practicing, I've gained some words, and this I will tell in another story. But acknowledge your humanity, the common humanity of it all, because we are all in this together. There's many people addicted to food, there's many people taking energy drinks, and there's many people who are inflammating this beautiful brain. And there's another brain that is like here, your belly is the second brain, and the heart area is the first brain. But um, we get inflamed. We get inflamed by alcohol, medication, and coffee, you know. And actually, we think that our brain is gonna wake up from coffee or from any stimulation, but actually, your brain will be very fine if you would eat healthy food and if you would take some extra sleep. You don't have to force your brain in the morning because you think coffee is such a great solution. So, inflammation in the brain is really real. And yeah, it's one downside of the binge eating. And then it's so much healthier to really feel your emotions, really, and to admit them. But still, you're not perfect. And we're all born with our imperfections, with our flaws, and we have them because we're here to learn. We're in this life to learn. We're in this life to learn how life works, how to build relationships, and how to find love. Because we all want love. And actually, I think this starts with acknowledging your emotions, naming your emotions, being able to communicate them in a decent and in a way that you connect to other people. So this um, is what I'm practicing, and now I'm gonna give you my 5 tips, and I've got them on screen somewhere, and I'm gonna pause the video. Tip number 1 is to brush your teeth, because by brushing your teeth, you can signal your mind, that it's time to do something else. Usually, when I brush my teeth, it's time to go to work. It's time to leave the house. It's the very last thing I do in the morning. And also, I know that after brushing teeth, I'm not gonna eat, I'm not gonna eat for at least 30 minutes because it's bad, for taking on the glaze. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but hey, I'm only human, so my English is imperfect. Then also in the evening, when I brush my teeth, I know my brain knows it's time to sleep, it's time to rest. And so you can start brushing your teeth in the day, People will brush their teeth after taking a nap. But once you brush your teeth, your brain and your body knows mealtime is over, food is over for at least 30 minutes. And I think then you can head out into the 2 hour break, because the bare minimum break between two meals is 2 hours. 2 hours is a time that your stomach needs to digest foods to totally empty itself. So once you have skipped the first half hour, which for me is the hardest, you can make it to the next hour. And once you made it through 1 hour, it will get easier to get up to 2 hours. And if you're 2 hours without food, at least you stop the binge. The binge is over once there has been a break of 2 hours. That's my experience. This is not something that I found in science, but I know that the stomach needs 2 hours. And when I stopped eating, I at least stopped eating for a bit. And it's a huge improvement if you compare it to eating all day, right? So, tip number 2, I'm gonna take a peek. You can find another type of release. And one release that really works for me is the brain dump. The brain dump is just simply open a Google Doc, open a new document on your computer, and type the first word that comes to mind, and then type the second word, and they don't have to be a sentence. They don't have to be a sentence. What is important is just to keep writing, to get it out, to get all the words out, to get all the frustration out. And you can yell and you can scream and you can use bad words and you can say, I hate this so much and I hate my habit and everybody was stupid to me today and blah blah blah. And just scream like you're a little child, you can scream on the screen. And it doesn't matter what goes on the paper, it doesn't matter, you don't have to reread it. What matters is that you get some kind of release, that you get the words out, that you get the energy streaming in your body. Because once it streams out from here, you will get lighter. And once you get lighter, you get healthy thoughts. And once you get healthy thoughts, you get healthy actions again. So, number 3 is to sit with yourself. Yeah, this person. You yourself, you can be your company, but you can just give yourself a hug. It's just a little thing to start with, which goes a little thing that goes a long way is a hug. And also, I have these 4 sentences, and they go like this: May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be kind to myself. May I accept myself as I am. And I will list below where those sentences come from. But they can be very calming and comforting. Tip number 4 is so important, to keep your eyes on your purpose. And you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be a big purpose. It doesn't have to be that you become a millionaire or that you get this wild career. No, you can focus on just being a good person, being a good daughter, being a good wife, being a good husband, being a good renter, um, but just keep your eyes on the things that matter in life. Our relationship matters to us, but also what we do in our free time. If you really hate your job, you can still focus on the dancing in the free time, on your favorite hobby, on something that really makes you joyous. Focus on those things outside of eating that make you feel good, the things that make you feel alive, even if it's just walking in nature. But focus on a purpose, on being a better person. That's just the first purpose of growing the best version of you, of practicing personal growth, because this will make you a better person in the end. This um, will prepare you for your legacy, because in the end, when you die, which is something really real, you want to be remembered by the important stuff. You don't want to be remembered by someone that was sitting in the house the whole life, or like a huge large part of the life, sitting sobbing away, and actually hiding away from life. Because you can hide away from emotions. This is the human part. You are very human by having those emotions, but by really compromising and letting those emotions steal away your life. Actually, you don't want that to happen. So focus on the positive, on the opposite, on what works well for you, and figure that out. Tip number 5 is to reassure yourself. Reassure yourself of this many good things and this lovable person that you are. Really. And as I practice to praise myself, I really feel that I can grow in valuing what goes well, because oftentimes people will criticize you, you know. We get criticized in school, and people often forget to compliment us. Our parents probably have criticized us in order for us to become good people. And most of us, we haven't been praised enough, and we haven't learned to build our worthiness. And you are so very worthy. So I write it down like each week on my calendar that I am enough, you know. And this is a really good habit of practicing that, you know, a lot of things are well in this life. You are intrinsically well, and you are doing your best. I think almost every good person um, wants to be a good person. Remember that you want to find love, and you want to give love, and you want to be a good wife, a good friend. And so, if you just focus on that, reassure yourself that you are doing a good job learning in this life, that you're doing a good job doing your best, and you can leave the rest, like the things that you don't control, like a lot of things. But it's this saying, you know, do your best and give the rest to God. And yeah, those were my tips. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.